wXw has always had a lot of fly-ins, but rarely someone who's already been in the ring in the big leagues. So today we have that exception as Adam Priest has already competed for All Elite Wrestling and WWE. Nice to have you here.
Hey, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
So, yeah, you're not maybe that well known in Germany, so maybe let's start at the beginning. You've been a wrestler since 2017, or that's when your first match was, I think. How did your career start? How did you get into wrestling?
Yeah, I think that's accurate. My first 2 years, I probably had a handful of matches, so it's tough to count those. But I think a lot of guys have that story. Their first few years, maybe have a few handful of matches. But I started in a very, what's the nice word to say? A very low level place in a northeast city called Boaz, Alabama. It was in a place where there was bleachers and smoke in the corner, people smoking cigarettes back in the
Oh,
corner on the bleachers, and it was a very rough place. And I started there because I was always a fan, and as a kid, and I just would have been mad at myself if I never tried it. So part of it was tough to find a ring in Alabama. When you don't know, you just don't know and don't know where to go. And my aunt and uncle took me to a wrestling show one year in Boaz, Alabama, and I talked to the promoter, and he asked me to start training, and I started training, and it went on from there. And I made connections in Georgia and Tennessee, and it took me a few years to get rolling, but I finally got rolling, and but I did. I started in Alabama, so and then moved to Georgia, Tennessee, and started making my way out throughout the South, and then everywhere else. So.
yeah, do you think there are any wrestlers, coaches, who have particularly influenced you in your career so far?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of wrestlers. When I started training, it was a lot of the boys kind of training the boys. It wasn't a lot of great training when I first started. I got more training kind of as I got in and
Mm.
got to know other people. So my first training, my first bit of training, I wouldn't say much influence, but kind of as I got going, guys like Jonathan Gresham that won, I believe he won the tournament before that,
Yeah, he did.
the 16 carat. Guys like Jonathan Gresham, QT Marshall, uh, a few good seminars from a lot of guys, and when I started doing a lot of extra work for AEW and having some Ring of Honor matches and things like that, I got a lot of good feedback from some of the guys in the back there. But I would say Gresham has helped me out a lot. QT Marshall. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I wouldn't say I had one specific trainer, if that makes sense.
Okay. Mm.
I wasn't a guy where it's like, hey, I trained here, and then he got me all the help I needed. That I don't want to say I'm self trained because I'm not, but it was a lot of my own, having to weave through and find my way through everything early on, and then I got some help later on, about 3 or 4 years in. So.
Okay. When preparing for this interview, I saw several comments saying that you make it easy for the audience to hate you. Do you agree with that?
Uh, I would say the audience. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. It might be because I'm a natural asshole. I'm not sure, but I think people hate what they want to be sometimes, or they hate. They see a lot of things, characteristics in people that they hate in their past, and I try to bring that out, or
Mm.
I just try to tap into a whole lot of different things, or it's just me being myself. I'm not sure which one, but I think being loudly booed is better than being loudly cheered because it's easy to be the nice guy and like somebody, you know what I mean, and
Mm.
to truly get some hate out of somebody, it's I think it's a better accomplishment than it is to get cheered. I don't know. That's just my twisted way of thinking.
Yeah. From 2020 to 2022, you were a regular in the ring at AW Dark. The format was discontinued. You went quiet, at least at AW, but recently you made three appearances again. So, yeah, how did they find you again?
I mean, I have a lot of connections there and everything. And during 2020, when everything was, the pandemic and
Mm.
everything, I was down in Jacksonville a lot for them, doing extra work. And I was kind of finding my way. I didn't know kind of who I was yet, which you're always trying to find who you are. But I was kind of just a guy, and no real direction, just kind of doing what I was told. And then 2022, when everything kind of opened back up, they started going back out on the road, and likewise, like the independents started getting hot again, and everybody was running again. So in 2022, there were weeks where I was working 4 times a week, which
Mm.
is completely rare nowadays. But in 2022, everything was hot, everything was firing back up, and that's when I think I made leaps and bounds and got better. So I kind of went and did my own thing for a while because I knew I wasn't ready for TV and any things like that, and I just kind of went and did my own thing, tried to find myself, and uh, I I knew I wasn't ready, and then I started kind of figuring some things out, felt better, had some more confidence, and I wanted to go back, and I reached out a few times. They reached out a few times, and just do what I'm told and try to go in there and make a name for myself. So there really wasn't no they reach out or anything. It was just I stayed in connection, but I just went and did my own thing for a while, and then now I'm back trying to make a name for myself again. So.
Mhm. Yeah, you told about or you told me about making a name for yourself. Is it a goal of yours to maybe have the Adam Priest's All Elite sometimes in social media or?
Adam Priest wants to get paid. Um, that's about it. So I think I would. I like the way a lot of companies do a lot of things. I don't want to narrow it down to just one. Adam Priest would like to work in any company, and Adam Priest wants to go to wXw. I want to go to England. There's a lot of things I have left to do on the independents also. Um, but Adam will not turn down any money, so I'll just put it that way.
Okay. Yeah, you had more than 300 matches already, but if my statistics are correct, only six outside of the US. Yeah, the pandemic
Yeah,
was in the way, I think, but
yeah.
yeah, is that a goal? You know, you said you want to go to England, to WXW, to maybe have a few more matches outside of the United States.
Oh yeah. I mean, I went 2 years ago WXW and a little bit in Europe, but nothing really big of note in
Hmm.
the UK. But just all my heroes and all the people I looked up to, they did everything. They did Japan, they did England, they did Germany. The Fit Finleys, the Benoits, the Guerreros, all those guys.
Hmm.
Now everything is kind of the same style, but the crowds are different. Like you can just learn so much from going different places. And I'm not like a big Japan mark or all these things, but I do want to go to A, have the experience, but B, to learn and uh, just get that experience. So, yes, it is things that I want to do more. And I feel like uh, the 16 Garrett Gold tournament is a big deal for a lot of people. And it definitely is for me because 2 years ago when I was there, just the atmosphere and just the respect that the fans and the people had for the tournament
Hmm.
made me realize, oh shit, this is something that I really should strive for and want. And then you look at the guys that's won the tournament, that's been in the tournament over the past few years. I mean, it's the best of the best. So and I'm sorry, but there's just something about independent wrestling where you know it's so raw and it's so it just makes you feel something, and it's guys that are still grinding and still love it. And it's guys that have been to the big companies, guys that are trying to make a name for themselves. It's just a perfect mixture in America and German and all these different wrestlers and Japanese wrestlers. And it's just, I feel like it's the most pure it can be, if that makes sense. Just this
Hmm.
tournament and traveling and I feel like the European crowds are more respectful as
Okay.
far as like, I think we're very much spoiled over here in America in many different facets. But I think a lot of the American crowds kind of sit on their hands and are like, hey, we've seen all this shit before. In the European crowds, I feel they're like, oh, you care enough to come here and put on a performance and come all the way here from America and you want to do this. And I feel like y'all are very more appreciative over there. So
Okay.
it's definitely, I just want to do as much as I can over there and, have all the experiences and all the matches that I can everywhere else, and then move forward after that.
Yeah, I have a few more questions about WXW, of course, but before we come to that, you had a one match in WWE as well. It was quite short. You lost against the War Raiders, if I'm correct. But was it worth the experience for you?
That was so long ago. That experience is much different than the experiences I've had in AEW. I'll put it that way. Yeah,
Okay.
that was many years ago. Back when I said I was a nobody, then I got jobbed out like a nobody. So, uh, not a lot of experience there. I'm not shitting on them. It's just I didn't do much there. I've been in contact with people there, but ever since then I haven't really done much there. So, not to be short, but there's really nothing I can say about that.
Okay. Yeah, it will be your first tournament you participate in at wXw. You said it's the biggest wrestling tournament in Europe. How much anticipation is there?
Oh well, I'm pretty good at tournaments. I've been in a lot of tournaments here in America, and I've won a few tournaments here in America. So I love the tournament format. I feel like it shows what a lot of guys can do, and the different styles of wrestling you can put on, and the different matchups that can
Hmm.
happen. That's what I try to pride myself on is like the any style, any type of wrestling. I can do it just as good as you can, and maybe better than you do it. So I'm interested to see who I match up against. It's just it's another stage for me to show what I can do. I feel like I get disrespected a lot of times, so I'm looking to prove myself right and prove a lot of people wrong. So I'm really looking forward to it, and it just the like again the energy that was there the last time. I've thought about it for 2 years, and I'm excited to be back there and feel that and be in front of that crowd. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we know all the participants of the tournament. Do you have a favorite opponent?
Well, listen, I've beat the shit out of Manders many times in America, and we beat the shit out of each other. But I want it to be known Manders has never beat me. So I hope he sees this. Manders has never beat me. So if I match up with him in the tournament, it'll probably go my way. But let me think who else is over there. Who's a few names that you would like to see me face in the tournament?
Ooh, Axel Tischer, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we have maybe some intergender wrestling. I have a
Me,
question
me and
for the.
Masha have never wrestled before, so that would be interesting to do it in Europe for the first time.
Okay, yeah,
That would be
per
interesting.
perfect. That will lead me to yeah, my next question. So Masha Slamovich and Anita Vaughn are taking part in the tournament. What do
Mhm.
you think of intergender wrestling in general? And yeah, what special features does it have?
Um, I enjoy it. I think we're in the world of 2025, and women should be allowed all the opportunities we do. And if they think they can kick our ass, then we should have a match. I believe in equality, so I would love to beat the shit out of Masha. So I'll put it that way.
Perfect. Then I have my headline for that interview. Yeah, and that went quite smoothly, though I only have one more question left. For all German and maybe international fans who don't know you that well yet, what can we expect from you at the Carrot Weekend?
Oh boy. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know how to answer who I am. I feel like I have a style that can fit anywhere. I feel like I can be plugged in. I'm a cog in a machine that can work anywhere. I think I can do any style of wrestling. I think the reason I'm hated a lot of times is because I do what I have to do to win in the wrestling world. So I think I will bring something different than they have seen. Some of what they have seen before, but I don't think there's many people like me in wrestling anymore. Um, and I try to make myself different. And again, I don't care if I'm booed or cheered, but I do what I have to do to win, and I plan on doing that in the Carrot tournament. So,
All right, there we have it. Maybe one of the favorites of the tournament. He said it. He's a tournament expert. Adam Priest, thank you for your time. And we're looking forward to seeing you in Oberhausen.
all right, thank you. Roll Tide.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.